What is the most bizarre thing you've caught yourself doing after your brain's autopilot misfired? Put toothpaste onto electric toothbrush. Lift up said toothbrush. Turn on. Toothpaste flies everywhere. Foo-woo-wuck. All the time. The other day I was trying to hit the unlock thing on my keys to unlock my basement door. Yes. Most times I try open my house front door with the car's key fob, and yet maybe one day it will be most common. I accidentally drink my watercolor water on a weekly basis. You get used to it after a while. I have done this. Thankfully the pain was non-toxic. Pet my dog until I realized she was gone and I was petting one of those fleece blankets that feels like pets. I'm imagining you all alone, petting a blanket even though your dog died years ago. I don't think that's what you meant, but I'm sad now. I finished brushing my hair and threw my hairbrush into the toilet with full force. Biggest brain fart I had, followed with a 5 minutes of confused cry laughing. Went to go grocery shopping on Saturday and ended up at work, 10 miles in the opposite direction. Your brain is saying you need more money before you go shopping. Took the wrapper off a cheese string, dropped cheese string into the bin, put wrapper in my mouth. Waited 5 minutes for a stop sign to turn green. I accidentally took a left on red once because I momentarily forgot you couldn't do that. In between my junior and senior year of high school, I worked in a book warehouse. Part of my job entailed peeling stickers off of books. The books were kept on a large table. One day after work, I went to Barnes & Noble with my younger brother. I suddenly found myself at a display table removing stickers from books. I quite often walk up to the ATM, take out my car keys and just stand there in slack-jawed confusion until my brain starts working again. The ATM is the place I go to forget. Sat in my car for about 20 minutes before I realized I was just sitting there listening to a podcast and I had to get to work. The crazy thing, I was holding onto the steering wheel and staring ahead like I was driving. Dude, I space out in my car all the time, but it is usually when I park my car after coming home from work. I had a co-worker whose morning routine involved taking her daily pill at the same time she gave her cat a treat. One morning she absent-mindedly popped the cat treat in her mouth and swallowed it instead of the pill. Said the poor cat was sitting there with his mouth open for his treat and the most confused look she'd ever seen on his face while she realized what she'd just done. She said she was getting the aftertaste of that pounce when she burped all day long. LMFAO, at least she didn't feed the pill to the cat. I was playing a PC game and tried to drink a beer without looking, and I tried to drink my speaker instead. Sounds tasty. Doing 75-80 down the interstate, zoned out, and fly into a sudden panic because I lost my car keys. Then I realized. I have several times now sat at a red light, with my car running, and started to worry because my keys were not in my pocket. One morning I woke up, went to the bathroom, and peed into the sink. I was halfway through the urination before I realized what I was doing. I've been known to pee in strange places when I'm drunk, but I was totally sober and I wasn't even sleepwalking. It's just like my brain told me that one time you're supposed to pee in there. Another time, I was driving to work. I had a 65-mile commute that I drove every day for years. I'm heading down the road and I suddenly realize everything looks unfamiliar. Then I see the city limit sign for a town that wasn't on my route. I had taken a wrong turn and driven over 7 miles before realizing it. Same thing happened to me, but I peed in my dirty laundry basket. Ground some coffee beans at home. Made coffee with said grounds. Poured milk into the coffee grinder. Put milk-filled coffee grinder in the fridge. Put milk in pantry. Sometimes I need a coffee to get through making my coffee. I once made the coffee, grabbed a cup, grabbed the creamer, grabbed the pot, walked away from cup and creamer, and poured out the coffee into the sink. I was so pee. I just went back to sleep and made coffee when I woke up again. I tend to stare at people by accident in these situations. Someone I knew waved at me and I didn't realize until after she was weirded out and walked away. This actually just happened today. I wanted a glass of water, so I poured one and sat down. Didn't drink from it. A couple minutes pass and I note that I am thirsty, so I go and pour another glass, still without drinking it. This continues until I realize that there are 4 cups of untouched water crowding my desk, and I'm still thirsty as heck. You can let a horse to water, but it might forget to drink. Decided I was going to grill myself a steak for dinner. Ended up pan-searing it out of habit. Forgot grill was on. Didn't notice it was still on until 3 days later after it had snowed, and I caught myself thinking that it was super weird for the deck to be covered in 4 inches while the grill had nothing on it. Yesterday, I needed an egg while making dinner. I cracked the egg, dumped the contents into the garbage disposal, then tossed the shell into the bowl. I was trying to bake something once. I measured out flour and put it in the bowl, but then I started putting all the subsequent things into the flour canister, not the bowl. I dug most of it out and had very floury, whatever the heck they were, chocolate flour squares, I think. Was half asleep nursing the baby and noticed she had yet to latch on. Woke up a bit and looked down and I have the pacifier by my boob and baby laying between my legs. Pulled into my driveway, and as I started walking to my front door I noticed I didn't have my glasses on. I knew I had driven with them on. I need them to drive. Spent at least 30 minutes scouring my entire car, under my car, around my driveway. I looked in places they couldn't possibly be. After my frustration boiled over I sat down and placed my head in my hands. I was wearing them the entire time. All I can say is that like an odd number. I don't even. Woke up to a ringing phone, reached over and unscrewed the lid from a water bottle beside my bed, held the lid to my ear and proceeded to talk into the bottle. No one was there. Brushed my teeth with antifungal cream and put toothpaste on my feet. I thought the toothpaste was just strangely tasteless and a little bitter, but thought maybe I just got a tube where the flavoring wasn't fixed right or something. My feet got tingly right away, but I was like, hey, that means it's working. Then the smell of mint wouldn't go away and I couldn't taste my coffee. Finally put 2 and 2 together. At least fungi won't be growing on your teeth anytime soon. Put books in the refrigerator. If you kept it in the end wouldn't be spoiled for another month. Rubbed toothpaste on my hands and through my hair. I gasped at this. I was making coffee and also making formula for my daughter. Almost put the formula in the coffee maker and coffee in the bottle. Oh man, I almost did the same thing a couple times. Severe and prolonged sleep deprivation will do that to you. I spent 10 minutes trying to cut off the water in the kitchen sink using the light switch, then started cussing when the water wouldn't cut off. I just can't believe this. One time I was at a restaurant with my family, and my leg really itched, so naturally, I reached down to scratch it. The itch went away, so naturally I thought I had scratched my itch. I looked down and realized I had been scratching my brother's leg the whole time. Tried to brush my teeth and pee at the same time when I was getting ready for bed. Threw my toothbrush in the toilet and stood there for 5 minutes. Something doesn't feel right. Took my glasses off, put my contacts in, put toothpaste on my toothbrush, put the toothbrush down, stuck my glasses in my mouth, laughed for a couple minutes. Standing in front of an open door searching my pockets for the keys. Sometimes I enjoy eating sunflower seeds at night while watching a movie. A couple of times I was so tired, I fell asleep in front of the TV, but the seeds were so tasty I continued eating them while being asleep. Needless to say, when I woke up there were sunflower shells all over the place. True story. I sleep eat all the time. I'll come to in front of the open fridge eating a block of cheese or something. It's annoying. Usually it involves the difference between the computer and not the computer. I once tried to turn off a lamp by double clicking on it and got irritated that the cursor was hitting the edge of the screen. Another time I tried to sign an email with a pen. In my defense, both times I had taken cold medicine. Trying to backspace while writing, undoing while drawing, and I have a really strong saving quirk, so my brain will tell me to save any kind of work at all. I tried to unlock a cabinet at work with my truck remote. I even walked closer thinking my battery was going dead. Walking to my car with my work shirt in one hand and lunch in the other, meant to throw my shirt in the passenger seat. Instead threw tacos full speed into the window. Vigorously picking my nose while holding a cigarette and driving. Crammed lit cigarette up my nose. I keep eye drops and a lighter on my desk. It's scary the number of times I've brought the lighter towards my eye before I realized what was going on. I'm scared that one day I'll actually go through with it. In primary school, our teacher was reading a story to the class. I zoned out and rested my head against my arm on the desk. I had my pen in my hand at the time and it started moving on the page, and when I looked up I had written "Feed me" on the page. I was at a fertility doctor, and I had just got done with a sonogram of my glory hole at 6:45 in the morning. I put my shoes on and started to walk to the door before realizing I had only put my shoes on and was carrying my pants and underwear under my arm. Full puss on display. I was asleep driving to a coffee shop. I woke up in traffic and nearly swerved off of the road. I don't do this anymore because I figured out what was causing it. Waiting at an unfinished traffic light that they were installing over several months, had the lights and all but no signal cycle between red, yellow, and green, while it blinked red, meaning to treat it like a stop sign, for it to turn green so I could go through the light. Took me several seconds for my brain to register what the heck I was doing and that I didn't need to wait on anybody and just went through. Over the summer I worked a second job as a delivery driver for Pizza Hut. There were a couple of apartment complexes that had similar addresses. One was something like 711 River Road and the other was 831 Johns Road or something similar, and people from both ordered pizza very often. A lot of days I would deliver at least once to both places, even in a 6-hour shift, oftentimes more than once, though the complex on River tended to order more often. After working for a while I started recognizing addresses and could get to a lot of places without my GPS. Delivering pizzas is an awesome way to learn your way around a city and a lot of shortcuts that you didn't know existed. One day I had just gotten off of a 6 AM to 3 PM shift at my main job, cashiering. Had a short break between having to go to Pizza Hut, maybe an hour. This day around 7 or 8 PM, I got a delivery for 831 Johns Road apartment 131. Cue me driving to 711 River Road apartment 131 and knocking on the door and a very confused guy opening the door and telling me that he hadn't ordered pizza. Confused, half asleep me goes, "Well, this is apartment 131, right? Yeah, but I didn't order pizza." Me thinking about it for a second and glancing at the receipt that listed the address, still not registering that I went to the wrong apartment complex. "This is 831 Johns Road, isn't it?" "No, this is 711 River Road. You're at the wrong complex." Cue a facepalm from me and "I'm so sorry for bothering you. My brain was on complete autopilot and I just came here." The guy just laughs and asks me if it's been a long day. Yeah, that's an understatement. I know that the addresses weren't all that close to the same, but when your brain is fried and totally on autopilot, stupid crap happens. I had to throw something away and I had to pee, so of course I threw the trash in the toilet and whipped my dong out at the trash can. I have a habit of flipping my cigarettes between my fingers in a certain order when I'm by myself and stopping for a drag. Got distracted talking and accidentally took a drag from the cherry. When you put your socks on your hands like an absolute sockhead goon. Went to put a teaspoon of sugar in my coffee, instead threw it in the trash. Didn't understand why. I was having dinner with a friend when I was about 19 or so. No clue what we were talking about, but I was zoning out just staring at my plate. Then, for no reason, I said in a very guttural tone, "Let it go." Mind you, this was in 2004, so it was before the song. No freaking clue why I said it. We both just stared at each other and started laughing. You have been visited by the fashion doggo. Comment your envy strengthens me, so you always look beautiful. Like and subscribe, you magnificent person.